Hey, what's up, you guys? Happy Memorial Day, and welcome back to another toy review. As today we take a look at the Ultra Monster 500 series number 64, Dino Tank. Actually, before I move on, yeah, that's more better. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, this is honestly, this is such a weird character to talk about. Honestly, I mean, just look at the bizarre nature of it. I can't even bother to talk about like his mythology without talking about the bizarre design overall, because this is literally a dinosaur and he's riding a tank, and there's no real explanation for it. And I'm sorry to say, he's only appeared one time in the entire Ultra series alone, and then that's about it. And I know he appeared in like some other thing, like the Ultra Orb Chronicle, whatever it was. I'm not. It wasn't even like the show itself. I think it was like some sort of like book or serialization. I'm not sure, but the whole point, honestly, is that he only appeared one time in the show Ultra 7, which is the third entry in the Ultra series. He appeared in episode 28, the 700 kilometer run. And honestly, the most interesting aspect of the character is not even, the overall idea itself of the fact that he's literally a dinosaur on a tank, but it's the fact that during his episode appearance, for some odd reason, I can't really say if this is true. This is only based off of speculation. But apparently, I guess in some parts of the world, I guess the episode has a completely different name. So it wasn't called the 700 kilometer run, but I can't really confirm that. And I don't want to jump on that for too long. I just want to jump straight to the review because, I mean, you get the idea. So before I begin, of course I gotta show off the tag because these are obviously vinyl figures or spark dolls, whatever they're called in Japan, and they always come with these nice little fancy tags, which I love very much, especially considering that you got Ultra 7 right there just pushing against Dino Tank because basically they were under attack in the episode, and of course he tried to defend the damn the garrisons. I'm trying to remember. It's been such a long time. I mean, what can I say? This is a show that literally had like 48 episodes or so. Ultra 7 was a pretty long show, just to say the least, considering that Ultraman had 39 episodes. So, of course, we got that going on. And of course, this is number 64. I always review these figures out of order. I don't review them in the proper name thing. And the reason why is because I try to review these figures by classics. So obviously this is a character from 1967. So I'm kind of working my way up that. So of course, without further ado, let's take a look at the figure itself. Let's look at all the details we got going on here. Let me see. I got myself a little tripod. I posted, on my community tab that I was gonna review Dino Tank, and then I would review another Marvel Legends. So of course, I also posted that I got a neat little tripod and it's working well so far. So that's good. You can see all the weird little details kind of going on. I love how this kind of like got like that weird sort of brick feel to it. I kind of like that a lot too. I also love how everything is so smooth with the figure itself. I mean, the painting sculpting overall is very good. Uh, kind of. It's not perfect. I do like the very light brown color they have right on top of, on his back and on his spine. So at least there's some consistency when it comes to that. At least he's not just one color. I mean, obviously they gotta color the eyes, his hilariously derpy eyes, but let's be honest here. When you look at a dinosaur face ahead, they could be the most menacing creatures possible, but they got like the most goofiest looking faces possible. Look at that. Look at this little boy right here. Look at this happy little dinosaur you got going on here. I feel so bad that he dies in the episode, honestly. Like, Subaraya needs to bring this character back, but with, like I say, with the weirdness and the goofiness kind of going on, they probably would never do that, let's be honest. But I could be wrong. They have brought back a lot of classic kaijus before, and they still do that to this day. With Ultraman Blazar, I don't know if they're gonna do that. It seems like they're gonna do mostly newer creatures, but that's fine by me. I'm not complaining. And the wrinkles too on the tail. Now that's a nice little compliment right there. I really do like that they implied that detail within the figure. But then again, that has less to do with how the character might look, and more with how obviously this is a kaiju genre show. So obviously this is obviously a guy in a suit. You know what? Now that I think about it, I don't really know how it goes because in the show the tank actually did roll, it did move around and stuff like that while he was fighting Ultra 7, so I am kind of curious to how that really worked. I highly doubt that was just mostly animatronics. This was definitely a guy in a suit, but listen, I've been wrong about things here before, so don't take my word for it. And of course, you can even move that to revealing, like, the freaking, like, like when he fires and shit, which I think is so cool. Honestly, that's the only articulation he has. He only has one point of articulation, and that's in the tank area that he's just kind of laying down on. It looks like you can move it full 360. I'm not sure though. Let me see. Maybe. Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, so you can move it full 360. So that's good. I mean, obviously for posing reasons, I mean that's kind of the only thing I could really think of for if you want to do some cool stuff with it. But for the most part, it's not that useful. I mean, and of course, I do want to talk a little bit about his side again, because it's so weird that they implemented that. And that's the other thing too. And okay, there we go. That's a lot more better. Yeah. Well, we got the teeth. The mouth is not painted in the inside, unfortunately, but it's not a big huge deal, I guess. I mean, it still looks relatively nice, and it gets the job done, sort of. I mean, the tank itself, obviously, is just one solid color. It doesn't really seem like there's really much to it, except for the detail. I do like that they implement, like, the showing off the wheels and all that. I do like that a lot. And, of course, you have the bottom here. This is where they will have that weird little gimmick for the DX ring, or the, damn, I forgot what it was called, but back when the toy line first started, it was originally based off of a gimmick that was first started in Ultraman Ginga, but obviously that gimmick has pretty much died down, and that's no longer part of the toy line, and the whole point is just to have a whole bunch of vinyl figures now. Go to Japan, and these are extremely cheap. You could get like 100 of these if you want. And of course, we got the texturing. You could like feel it when you touch it, which I do like a lot. Of course, got the little blasters when he go when he shoots off, against the garrisons. And obviously, because this is a vinyl figure, the wheels do not move. So, I mean, of course, you kind of have to expect this type of stuff to happen with the toy line. It's like when you get a kaiju with wings; they're not always going to be able to move. It's like with the Bandai Movie Monster series. If you buy a King Ghidorah, his wings are only going to move at least one way, but that's not a bad thing or anything. But you know what is a bad thing? My only major complaint, I don't understand this seam, like this giant line where my thumb is. I don't really understand the correlation behind that, because it's pretty obvious that they had to kind of attach two parts together, because Dino Tank is literally just hanging on there and he got like no legs, just a freaking tank and arms. And even the tank itself has a seam. If I could get back, come on, there we go. Yeah, even when you see that tiny, tiny, tiny bit of like super glue right there, which is very, very annoying, and that's kind of an eyesore. It does kind of hurt the details a little bit, but I guess it's not a huge deal, but I don't know. It does kind of bother me, and it's not like the tail moves either. That's how you know that it's just kind of glued in there. So yeah, honestly, that's kind of my only complaint with a character like this. I mean, he's still freaking cool. I still like the whole aspect of just how dumb and goofy it is. And yeah, stuff like that does kind of hurt it maybe a little bit, but not too much. And of course, lastly, we got to talk about his sizing, because obviously he's not a very huge character, as you can obviously tell by my hands. He's definitely not as tall as Ultramans and all that. But this is not the first time we've had smaller kaijus in the toy line and in the series in general. Of course, you have the classics. You got Bolton or Bolton, the weird giant cosmic like living meteorite that does like weird fourth dimensional shit. And I did review this figure a while back, and this is still considered one of my favorites just because of like the bizarre nature of it. And of course, like I say, he's kind of small, but he's so much fun to handle. I generally love this figure so much, and you can see some of the details. Like I say, I already did a review of this figure, so if you want to take a look, I do have a whole playlist of it. I got like, I think like maybe 2 or 3 playlists dedicated to just reviewing Bandai Ultraman figures, but alright. And of course we got the giant whale Gubula, which is, he's very infamous for having a freaking drill on the tip of his nose. And of course he is not painted well at all. I did not give this figure a good score just because of that. I mean, it's like, I don't know. They could have put much more of the white color on them. I don't know why they decided not to. And oh, look at that. They're kissing. You see, look how cute that is, you know. And of course, you gotta compare them to the heroes themselves, you know, the Ultramen. So, oh, I dropped one of them, but that's okay. We got the hero himself, Ultra 7, and yeah, that's obviously he's supposed to be maybe slightly more bigger, but this is okay. Sizing, I don't have a problem with it too much. I mean, what else do you expect from a literal Dino tank? I already went berserk last time because we were literally talking about a kaiju bird with long arms. Now we got whatever the hell this thing is supposed to be, and then of course you got to compare him to the other Ultramen. I mean, you just have to. Come on now, let's line him up. Here he is with the original boy himself, simply called Ultraman. And of course Zafi, because why not? Let's add him into the equation. And then the next possible Ultraman figure I might review, obviously, is Ultraman Jack. That's supposedly kind of the next one I might review. There's a bit of I got a bit of an issue with that because Bandai has been releasing a lot of classic figures lately of like the old kaijus, and I really, really, really want to review them. But obviously, they come from Japan, so I gotta go on either eBay or Amazon just to kind of get them, and that becomes a hassle. So in the meantime, I'm gonna be reviewing some Marvel Legends. So the next one is going to be Star Lord. I already got the voting in. People want to see this toy review, so I will upload that maybe Friday. You know, just to kind of show you guys the different combinations of like two different toy lines, and then of course let's bring in the good old Black Panther because why not? Who doesn't love a good Black Panther? This is an amazing figure, by the way. Like, wow, I cannot wait to review him. But we are going to review Star Lord next. He's going to be the next figure I'm going to review. So just kind of get those guys out of the way, and yeah, that's about it. You know, ends it there. Alright, so this review has gone on long enough, so my final verdict, I give this figure a 9 out of 10. I mean, it's a cool little figure. He's very unexpected. Like, for a character that's only appeared one time, it's such a shock that he got his own figure. I mean, to be fair, there has been a plenty of kaijus that's only had one-time appearances, and they get their own figure. So it's like, you know what? God bless this figure. It's incredible. And of course, I gave it a 9 out of 10 because of course, my only criticism is the seam from like the vinyl plastic and all that is kind of bothersome. And before I quit, he's slightly soft. Yeah, he's kind of on the softer side. I forgot to mention that because of the material of the plastic, which is of course vinyl. So of course, yeah, I mean, if you love Ultra 7, even though it mostly focuses on like aliens, because there's barely enough giant creatures like him, but you know what? Like I said, it's sort of a blessing in disguise. It's a pretty cool and bizarre character to say the least. Even though he only had a one-time appearance, but whatever. It's about it. So thank you guys for joining in. Leave a like, subscribe. I know I take forever to put these out, but hopefully now that I got my little tripod here, my toy reviews should at least be a little more consistent in the future. So I hope you guys stick around. So until then, yeah, that's about it. Peace out.